Good morning, everyone. The Delaware County Commissioner meeting for May 30th, 2024 is now in session. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Merrill, President of the Board this year, and to my right is Vice President, Vice Chair Barb Lewis, and fellow Commissioner Jeff Bennett to my left. And our Deputy Administrators today, Don Houston and Eric Hostetler are with us. And of course, our clerks, Randy and Jennifer. Let's begin.
Resolution number 24-422, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held May 23rd, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-422. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment today, so that brings us to item number 3, resolution number 24-423, in the matter of approving purchase orders and announced certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0529 and memo transfers in batch number MT APR 0529.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-423. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-424, in the matter of approving travel expense request.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-424. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-425, in the matter of acknowledging receipt of annexation petition from agent for the petitioners, Stephen D. Martin, attorney at law, requesting annexation of 1.802 acres of land in Liberty Township to the city of Powell.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 24-425. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Item number 6 was a resolution that was postponed from May 16th of 2024. So far, it reads resolution number 24-396, in the matter of approving a service agreement with Flipside Commercial Services LLC for cleaning and floor care services at the Sheriff's Training Facility. It has currently been motioned by Mrs. Lewis and seconded by Mr. Merrill.
Okay. John, you're going to do a little research and get back to us?
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. Yes, we did reach out to Flipside, look for a reduced scope of services to reduce the cost up there, and working with them, looking at to reduce it to cleaning twice a week. That reduced cost for the weekly cleaning for the annual cost would be about $19,200. They had included in their proposal some additional, the floor care, which is done either on a monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually basis. Those amounts bring the not to exceed total to $33,070 on that 2-day-a-week. And in discussion with the commissioners too, we would be overseeing this. So some of those the floor cleaning, carpet cleaning stuff would be as needed. We would direct them to do that work, and it's not an automatic thing that would happen. So we did look at that reduced scope. It would be for 2 personnel cleaning twice a week. Be happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, any questions or comments?
No, not really. And again, appreciate the research and developing an alternative, lower cost. Not sure how do we do this?
My brief conversations I had, it was my thought process that we would vote on the original resolution, and based on what I've heard, we'd probably vote, at least this commission would vote no, and then a new resolution be prepared and presented at a future date. Is that the best way to handle it?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead and vote?
I do have one question that I did not address earlier. Since Commissioner Benton was not present, can he vote on this one today
Yes.
too? Okay, all right.
So he can't vote?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I will call for the vote then on resolution number 24-396. Mr. Benton?
No.
Mrs. Lewis?
No.
Mr. Merrill?
No.
All right.
Okay, and then you need a little direction going forward. My only comment is some of these items are once or twice a year.
Right.
Does it make more sense to pull them out and address them as they come up, since it's kind of a building that we're not that familiar with, or will you be very careful in not doing the work until it's really needed?
Yes, we'll monitor this contract, and again, like, we'll be overseeing the contractor and the work provided. And, you know, we could even pull out the carpet cleaning. We could have our contractor who does all the other buildings do that carpet cleaning as well. We just hadn't included it in this scope, so,
Okay.
yeah, so we could pull that out as well, and, yeah.
So what will happen with the floor cleaning then? Like just,
And
it just seems very, I think the floor cleaning is too much. I mean, there's the waxing and then there's the this and then that.
there's a lot of VCT tile out there that it requires a lot of maintenance when it comes to hard wax flooring.
I see.
So, yeah, I mean,
I
and if
see.
you don't stay on top of it, it gets really nasty. Flipside did come in when we took over the building and they started the academy, come in and totally strip and did an excellent job bringing that floor
Uh-huh.
back up to life. So part of it is to
Mhm.
maintain that so it doesn't go into that bad state again. So,
Mhm.
and again, it's something that's not automatic. We would monitor and
Okay.
have address, you know, if it's not getting the wear and not needed to be done monthly or quarterly, yeah, we would monitor that and cut back on.
And then
It's
there
just
would
in
be
that
no
not to
charge
exceed.
then?
Yes,
If it's
yes.
obviously.
And the max is the 33,000
Yes, that would be the
plus
max
that you mentioned.
yes.
The only fear is because it's in there,
Yeah,
they could spending it because it's there.
No, yeah, no,
Uh,
make sure that wouldn't happen.
With the comments you've heard, why don't we leave it this way, with the comments you've heard, the concerns you've expressed, work with Eric on a resolution that can go one of two ways. Either we
Yep.
pull those out and we deal with them as they come up, do we get a
Yep.
little more experience with that building? Or be very clear and reassuring that that will not be done automatically.
We could pull them out, and then if it becomes necessary to do it, we can simply do an amendment to that not to exceed
Are you-
amount too
are
as
you
well.
good with
yeah,
that?
yes. I
Sure.
think that's a
Okay.
better way to do
Okay,
it.
so get with Eric, prepare a resolution, and we'll.
And I'll follow back up with the sheriff's office too, you know, make
Okay.
sure they're fully on
Okay.
board.
Very
Okay.
well.
Thank you, John.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you, John.
All right, that brings us to item number 7, resolution number 24-426. In the matter of approving a psychotropic drug reimbursement program funding agreement between the Delaware Morrow Mental Health and Recovery Services Board and the Delaware County Board of Commissioners for FY 2023.
So moved.
Second,
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Hello,
You always bring such a bright smile with you, eh?
I do. Cassie Neff, Criminal Justice Program Manager for the Delaware County Sheriff's Office.
Deanna Brandt, Executive Director of the Mental Health Board.
So the jail participates in the psychotropic reimbursement medication program operated by Ohio MOS, the Ohio Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. This is to offset and help pay for mental health medications for inmates while they are incarcerated. And if they so choose, we will give them a supply upon release. It's usually about 7 days.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, what's the annual cost of this and availability of grant funds and so on? If you could give us a little
So-
financial summary.
It varies. So this line item is in the state budget bill, and so they allocate a certain amount of funding every 2 years for all jails across the state to submit for reimbursement. So how much the jail gets reimbursed is dependent on 2 things. They submit a spreadsheet twice a year to the Ohio Department of Mental Health, and they do a calculation statewide of how much that dollar figure represents of the allocation, so they can reimburse up to the whole amount or a percentage of it. So it varies based upon the medication needs of the inmates and how many other jails submit for reimbursement. Early on, we got everything we asked for. Now every jail in Ohio has chosen to submit for every allowable cost. So it varies.
So it'll be something less than 100%.
Sometimes,
Okay, and if all are participating, probably will be.
probably. So-
We've experienced this on the public defenders
Yeah, I
about,
know.
so the
So we're
state has a
subject
habit
to-
of underfunding these things and then
And
putting
you
the
don't
burden on
know
the
ahead
county.
of time how
I'm
much
sorry?
the reimbursement's gonna be until after the fact.
I
So the
understand that.
sheriff fronts the money to pay for the meds and then gets reimbursed for a percentage. Part of our approach, though, has been to look for other revenue to cover medication costs. And so in the intervening year and a half, we've gotten federal revenue through our state opiate response grant to pass through to the jail to cover some of the costs of those. So I think when you
Oh,
add that
great.
in, they come
Yeah.
out okay.
So you're,
yeah.
You think we'll be in good shape?
Yes.
Okay.
How much was it, just roughly, dollar-wise, do you, in the last,
The
the
past
most recent
couple of
period?
years, it varies between 7,000 to 10,000.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is depending on the needs of the persons in the jail. So a person that requires a injectable psychotropic medication is usually more expensive than an or antidepressant or.
Okay, good to have a perspective, thank you.
And it helps with their recidivism back into the
Sure.
community. I
Absolutely.
mean,
Sure.
yeah, just to withdraw the
Good.
drugs would be more expensive than anything else.
Yeah,
'cause
and it
then there-
helps to
another
manage
treatment.
individuals while they are incarcerated. So we're talking about lower incidents of inmate to inmate, physical
Mhm.
violence or inmate to staff.
ER visits,
visits,
hospitalizations, jail
yeah.
transfers,
Mhm.
it's an enormous help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very unpredictable land of having people who can benefit from stabilizing medications not have access to that.
Uh-huh, oh, sure, oh, boy.
Other
Thank
que-
you,
I'm sorry.
thank you for what you do. I mean, it's just excellent job. Any reports on stepping up while you're here?
Sure.
Yeah, thank
Why don't we
you.
call for the vote first?
Okay.
Okay,
Let's
And
do
they were,
that.
okay, they still have, they have another item after that one. So 24-426, Mrs. Lewis,
aye.
Mr. Merrill,
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Now you give your report.
Yeah, so I'm also our county Stepping Up coordinator. And this year, specifically in the jail, we have identified a need of programs for women. So we have added 3 new programs for women. This is focused on trauma, and there's one specifically for survivors of human trafficking. The programs are either cognitive behavioral therapy, there's mentorship, and then there's a program, really the goal is to inspire hope. That person who teaches and facilitates that program is a person who is a restored citizen herself. She has done time in our jail and also prison and has been out, and just a really good role model and pillar. Sorry, I'm losing my track. Caught me off guard, I wasn't prepared. Yes, so we have added female programs to the jail. The Guardianship Services Board has been operating for almost a year. That is a strategy in our Stepping Up mission. The jail has provided a couple of referrals, and this has been really interesting because we haven't had access to this resource. But when there is a person who is just in that cycle of coming to jail, getting out into the ER, going back to jail, and just repetitive, and really could benefit from the Guardianship Services Board. We've seen 2 success stories thus far, and it's just been wonderful. The benefit of having the jail is when you have somebody who is not willing to get mental health treatment, doesn't think that they need mental health treatment, their family is in this hopelessness state. So to get them in front of a physician that is needed to fill out this, what's called a statement letter of expert evaluation, you need that to petition to the court for referral. That's step 1. So for families that have loved ones who are in this vicious cycle and they don't want to go to the doctor, they're kind of like, their hands are tied, there's nothing they can do. If those people are recycling in and out of the jail, our jail physician is their PC, their primary care physician. So over the years, Dr. Betty Mitchell, she has eyes on these individuals. She takes care of these individuals. And she has been able to fill out the statement letter of expert evaluation needed for these people for their referral to the Guardianship Services Board. So the Guardianship Services Board has now intervened and helped stabilize, and for one person has not come back to jail. Then the person that we're working on with comes back to jail within hours. So I think once we can get that person stabilized, it'll be a benefit to all. This specific person, almost everybody in the criminal justice system knows him. He has grown up in the jail, and he is kind of a rite of passage for prosecutors and deputies and corrections officers, very, very challenging. But we're not gonna give up on them, and I think the Guardianship Services Board is the missing piece, or at least something different that we haven't tried.
Oh, that's great to know. I'm really happy that Guardian Services can fill that gap that you
Absolutely.
didn't have. Oh, thank you so much. You did an excellent job reporting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Nope, I don't think we're
Item
done
number
yet.
8 is resolution number 24-427, in the matter of approving a psychotropic drug reimbursement program funding agreement between the Delaware Moral Mental Health and Recovery Services Board and the Delaware County Board of Commissioners for FY 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Mikkel Roy, Finance Manager from Sheriff's Office. This is in addition to the one that was just discussed. It's for the subsequent year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, questions
Thank
or
you.
comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 24-427. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-428, a resolution of necessity for the purchase or lease of a motor vehicle for use of the county sheriff or his employees.
So moved.
Second.
A discussion?
So we are looking at purchasing a new vehicle for use by our drug task force. So this would help to benefit them, be a vehicle that they're able to go out and survey or provide surveillance and just covert vehicle that's unmarked.
Was this in the budget?
This is part of their LEAP grant that we did present for the budget to be amended in last week's meeting. It was for reappropriation of funding.
Any other questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 24-428. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 24-429, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriations, appropriation reductions, and a revenue revision and an advance of funds.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Justin Navi, Director of Finance. This item would authorize budget adjustments primarily for the purchase of a forensic computer for the Sheriff's Office, as well as an additional grant allocation on the Healthy Agent Grant.
Questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 24-429. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 24-430, in the matter of awarding a bid and approving a contract between the Delaware County Commissioners and LEPI Enterprises Incorporated for the Delaware County Lead Safety Ohio General Contractor Services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Thanks, Commissioners. For this second item, again, it's a grant award for general contractor services on the Lead Safe Grant to LEPI Enterprises. The award amount is a little over $400,000.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, Justin, could you describe this program and how it's going to be communicated to the public to make folks aware of it? Because
Sure.
this is an opportunity to rehab a number of houses in our community.
Right, no, thanks, Commissioner. So for this project, the grant award was a little over $511,000. We're currently working with Gandy and Associates, and they're basically the administrator on this grant. So what we'll be doing is reaching out to homeowners in the county. They have to meet certain income requirements, but with these funds, we would use the money to replace windows and doors that have lead in them, essentially. We're hoping to target Village of Ashley and certain areas of downtown Delaware.
How long does the grant program go?
This goes on through February 2026.
Okay.
And I was reaching out to the state because we're one of the few counties that actually have sought out this grant. There's additional money that likely will come back to us in August.
Okay.
Other questions or comments? Call for vote?
Vote on motion 24-430. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Our next item is Tiffany Mag, our Director of Environmental Services, and her monthly regional sewer update.
Thanks, Jennifer. Tiffany Mack, Director of Environmental Services. So we have several items on our agenda here for the May approvals that were approved by the county administrator. The first one is the courtyards at Hyatt's Village. This is an EPCON development. It is over near Sawmill Parkway, corner of Sawmill and Hyatt's Road. 131 units in this development. And then we have Berlin Farms West. This is one that we've seen on the agenda for the past several months. The MI Homes is continuing through their subdivision there on the north side of Berlin Station Road near Pyatt. This section has 37 lots in Section 3 and 35 in Section 5. Then we have the OSU Outpatient Care Center in Powell. This is the one that's at the corner of Sawmill and Home Road. 61 and a half units in Phase 1, and then they are constructing Phase 2, but won't be connecting that in until we bring a larger sewer. And I think roughly 5 years, they want to have that piece open, this Phase 2 of that complex.
What do you mean when you say units?
So equivalent residential units, 61 and a half ERUs, so it's equivalent to 61 and a half single-family homes is the amount of flow that they'll be sending to the sewer.
Okay.
And then I
Thank you.
believe it's roughly double. I have to go back and look at the calculations for
Okay.
Phase 2.
Okay, thank you.
So this is just the first phase of 2 phases of that?
It is. I believe they're building both phases now, but not opening the second phase, not putting equipment or staffing it or anything like that until roughly 5 years is what they've indicated.
Okay.
And then they would come back and pay the second portion of their tap fee at that time.
So what's the time, do you know the time frame for the construction of that facility? We've been working on that for many years.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
No, I'm not
I know it's- Okay. And it's finally coming to fruition. Good to see.
Yeah.
It's an important facility for that area.
Yep, absolutely. Then we have Ravines at Meadow Ridge. This is a metro apartment complex, 312 apartments in 13 buildings. This is up near 36, 37, and 71. And then also the Carlton at Berkshire. This is a similar metro apartment complex and just over to the east of the Ravines at Meadow Ridge. And this one is 264 apartment units. And then we have North Star Prestwick Road, Phase 1 and 2. This is the North Star developer extending sewer up for future service to the, I think it's a subdivision. We don't really have plans on what they're serving yet, but they're extending off-site sewer up to a pretty large parcel of land. I think it was a couple hundred acres. And then finally, Ryan Creek. This is another multifamily complex by Wilcox Communities. This is served by that new Hyatt's pump station, and it's on the east side of 23, just south of Shanahan Road. So you can see we have quite a few multifamily projects going on, certainly
They're
keeping
needed.
us busy. So I'll take any questions you might have.
Very, very much needed.
Absolutely.
Very helpful. Thank you, Tiffany.
Great.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Tiffany.
Thank you.
Before we do reports, the 3 commissioners, I don't think we knew the others were going to be at the meeting. We attended a meeting on Tuesday, Children's Museum, and discussion about a potential for a children's museum in our county. And we're talking about a first phase conversation. There was about 40 people in the room, I believe. And I made the statement, we, as commissioners, we could only be there to observe. We weren't aware the others were going to be there. So we were kind of, I think, also a little surprised by that. But I did make a commitment that we would talk about in a session today about whether we would have a representative on the, let's say, the initial planning phase, for lack of a better
Yeah.
phrase. And so I'm just opening up for discussion, so we can discuss it now, and we could discuss it Tuesday. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. There are again, I'm learning about this, but there are children's museums existing in other smaller communities like Marion and Mansfield, for instance. And it wouldn't be a COSI. It wouldn't be a massive project like a COSI, but it would be something like, apparently like the other children's museums in those other communities. I think it's an interesting idea to explore. It's very much in its infancy, in terms of what it would be, the funding, the costs, the locations, the participations, so on. So, again, I thought it'd be interesting for us to have a representative on that committee.
Commissioner Lewis, you have any thoughts?
Oh, I think that it's important that we really do teach our children the importance of love for our country. And the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. Now, I mean, I realize this isn't a school, so I guess I'm kind of wondering exactly what the focus would be. I mean, would it be someplace, I mean, is this to kind of maybe, you know, show how kids during the founding of our nation participated in that? Or is it to teach them, more of a teaching tool to show them, you know, what the Declaration of Independence really means and how our country was formed, I guess. I mean, I think that's very important because I think it's been missing.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the theme or the mission or the scope of it would be,
Yeah.
because that wasn't clear to any of us.
Right.
Frankly, I did not interpret that would be the direction. It'd be more like exhibits you see at COSI and scientifically related, et cetera, et cetera. I've never been to one of these smaller, like Mansfield or Marion.
Yeah.
I frankly didn't even know they existed,
Right.
but several people in the room had attended them. If I get up in the Mansfield area, I thought I'd stop by and just observe one, see what it's like.
Great.
But I think the purpose, they're putting together, forming a committee for initial conversations. I think they even use the term, Philip Smith, who led the meeting, that this will be a 3, 4, 5 year period of, does this make sense? Location, how do we raise the money? How do they raise the money, et cetera. So this is just the planning stages, and they were asking for volunteers. So the question I have is, do one of you have any interest in volunteering for that? If not, I do have a suggestion, but first of all, do you have an interest?
No, I think it's.
And I'm already overcommitted,
Yeah,
I
I
can't take
think
on another
That's
committee.
just it. I mean, we have so many things on our plates right now. I would hate to commit to something
Well,
and then not.
I made that assumption. That might be a challenge for all of us. And I did speak to Justin. I think Justin would provide a financial aptitude for that group, and he certainly would be representative of the three of us. And he was, I don't want to put words in your mouth, you were willing, is that correct? So,
Okay.
without objection, I would be willing to pass Justin's name on as a member of that committee.
And that way he could keep us informed too.
Sure.
As to
So-
what was, and plus give your input.
Yeah, it's a blank slate. I mean, they really do not have a, you know, specific mission identified for this museum. It could go a lot of different ways, you know, like
Right,
Commissioner
right,
Lewis
yeah.
talked about. So we just don't know, but it's an interesting idea.
So, without objection, and I'm going to pass Justin's name on and provide his contact information to Philip, and Justin, you'll keep us informed as to the progress. I think they're going to be pretty quick to put this committee together and have their first meeting. So, and then you can kind of determine whether it makes sense to stay on the committee or not based on your experiences. Okay, is everybody good with that?
Let me just ask Eric, do you have any comments as to how we should approach this?
No, I would need to
Okay,
have more information before I had it.
Are you comfortable with what we're doing?
Sure.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll do reports, correct?
Yes, our administrator reports.
John,
I have nothing.
Eric?
Nothing.
Commissioner Lewis?
All right, let's see. I'll defer to Commissioner Benton as I read my notes here.
Does that mean you want me to come back to you? or-
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
Commissioner Bailey.
Well, the only thing I was gonna bring up is, the three of us went to this children's museum discussion. The other morning, we were surprised to see each other there, but we've already covered that, so that's it.
I guess we all assumed that only one of us was being invited, and we were surprised to find that we were all three there. So, but those things happen, and I think everybody understood.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's back to you.
well, you know what? I forgot what I was gonna say. So I'll pass and I'll give any reports next time that are worth reporting.
And I was out of the office last week, so I really don't have anything to report. We do have regional planning tonight, so I assume I will see you guys there. And other than that, I do believe we have need for executive session.
We do have need for executive session. Resolution number 24-431, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, compensation of a public employee or a public official, and for collective bargaining.
So moved.
Second,
Motion made and seconded, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 24-431. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. With that,